I went to the passport office on a Tuesday morning to renew my expired passport. Simple, routine appointment. I handed the clerk my documents, and she typed my information into the computer. Then she stopped. Her face went pale. She called over her supervisor. He looked at the screen, then looked at me, then back at the screen. He said quietly, "According to our records, you died 3 years ago. Your death certificate was filed in August 2021. You legally don't exist anymore. I'm Margaret Sullivan, and I'm 62 years old. Or at least, I was 62 years old until that Tuesday morning when the government told me I'd been dead for 3 years. I live in Portland, Oregon, in a small house I've owned for 15 years. I'm a retired librarian, widowed 8 years ago when my husband James died from cancer. My daughter Claire is 36, works in finance in Seattle, and visits me about once a month. My life is quiet, ordinary, uneventful. The kind of life where renewing a passport shouldn't result in someone telling you you're legally deceased." "There must be a mistake," I said to the supervisor, whose name tag read Robert Chen. "I'm obviously alive. I'm standing right here. I understand this is distressing. But our system shows a death certificate filed with the state of Oregon on August 15, 2021. The certificate lists you as Margaret Ann Sullivan, born March 3, 1962. That's your information, correct?" "Yes, but I didn't die. I was very much alive in August 2021. I was volunteering at the library, I was taking yoga classes, I was, I believe you. But legally, according to every government database, you're deceased. I can't process a passport for someone who's legally dead. You'll need to go to the county clerk's office and get this resolved. They'll need to investigate how this happened and issue a correction." I left the passport office in a daze. How does someone get declared dead when they're walking around, living their life? I drove straight to the county clerk's office in downtown Portland. By the time I arrived at 10:30 a.m., I'd moved from confusion to anger. This was clearly some kind of bureaucratic error, and I needed to fix it immediately. The clerk at the county office, a young woman named Jessica, pulled up my records. "Oh," she said, her eyes widening. "Oh, this is unusual." "What is it?" "You do have a death certificate on file. Dated August 15, 2021. Cause of death listed as cardiac arrest. Certifying physician was Dr. Harold Westbrook at Portland Medical Center. Next of kin listed as Claire Sullivan, your daughter." My heart started pounding. Dr. Westbrook? I've never heard of him. I've never been to Portland Medical Center. And I definitely didn't have cardiac arrest 3 years ago. Jessica clicked through several screens. "According to this, your body was cremated on August 20, 2021, at Riverside Memorial Services. Your daughter claimed the ashes." I felt like I was going to be sick. This wasn't a simple clerical error. This was detailed, specific, elaborate. Someone had created an entire false death, complete with a doctor's signature, a cremation record, everything. And my daughter's name was all over it. "I need a copy of that death certificate," I said, my voice shaking. Jessica printed it out and handed it to me. I stared at the document. There was my name, my birth date, my address. The signature of Dr. Harold Westbrook. The signature of the medical examiner. And at the bottom, the signature of the person who'd requested the certificate, Claire Sullivan. My daughter. "What do I do now?" I asked. "You'll need to file a petition to have the death certificate voided. You'll need to provide proof you're alive, which shouldn't be hard since you're standing here. But you should also probably report this to the police. Filing a false death certificate is a crime. If someone did this deliberately, they need to be investigated." I drove home with the death certificate on the passenger seat, my mind racing. Why would Claire do this? What did she gain from having me declared dead? I pulled into my driveway at 11:45 a.m. and sat in my car for 10 minutes, just trying to think. Then I remembered. Life insurance. When James died, I'd taken out a small life insurance policy on myself, just to make sure Claire would have something if anything happened to me. $500,000. Not a fortune, but enough to make a difference. Enough to be a motive. I went inside and started searching through my files. I found the life insurance policy from Secure Life Insurance Company. The beneficiary was Claire. I called the insurance company immediately. This is Margaret Sullivan. I need to check the status of my policy. Account number SLC 447821. There was typing, then a long pause. According to our records, that policy was paid out in September 2021 following your death. A claim was filed by your daughter Claire Sullivan with a certified death certificate. We issued a check for $500,000. I didn't die. I'm alive. That death certificate is fraudulent. Another pause. If what you're saying is true, this is insurance fraud. You need to speak with our fraud investigation department immediately. They transferred me. I spent the next hour explaining everything to an investigator named Marcus Webb. He took detailed notes, asked for copies of my identification, asked me to send a current photo of myself holding today's newspaper. Miss Sullivan, if your daughter filed a false death certificate and collected insurance money under false pretenses, she's committed multiple felonies. We'll be contacting the police and the district attorney's office. This is very serious. After I hung up, I sat in my kitchen and tried to process what was happening. My daughter had legally killed me. She'd forged or somehow obtained a fake death certificate, used it to collect $500,000 in life insurance, and left me to navigate the world as a legal ghost. How long had she thought she could get away with this? Did she think I'd never need to renew my passport, never need to access certain records, never discover what she'd done? I needed to talk to her. I needed to hear her explain this. But I was also afraid. If she'd done this, if she'd gone this far, what else was she capable of? I called her cell phone at 2 p.m. It rang 4 times before she answered. Hey, Mom. What's up? Her voice was so casual, so normal, like she hadn't stolen my entire legal existence. Claire, I need you to come to Portland. We need to talk. Is everything okay? You sound upset. Just come. Please. It's important. I can't just drop everything, Mom. I have work, Claire, I went to renew my passport today. They told me I died 3 years ago. They told me you filed my death certificate and collected my life insurance. So yes, I need you to come to Portland. Now. The silence on the other end of the line lasted so long I thought she'd hung up. Then, quietly, I can explain. Then come explain. I'll be waiting. She arrived at my house at 6:30 p.m. I'd spent the intervening hours calling lawyers, filing police reports, documenting everything. When she walked through my door, she looked terrified. Mom, sit down. She sat on the couch, and I sat across from her in the armchair. I had the death certificate on the coffee table between us. Tell me everything. Start from the beginning. She took a deep breath. 3 years ago, I made a terrible mistake. I was in debt. Bad debt. I'd made some investment decisions that went wrong, and I owed people money. Dangerous people. They were threatening me, and I was desperate. So you killed me? On paper. I didn't think you'd ever find out. You never travel internationally. You don't work anymore, so you don't need to update employment records. I thought I could file the death certificate, collect the insurance money, pay off my debts, and you'd just keep living your life without ever knowing. How did you even do it? How did you get a doctor to sign a fake death certificate? She looked down at her hands. There are people, if you know where to look, who can produce documents. It cost me $20,000, but they created the death certificate, the cremation records, everything. It looked completely legitimate. You paid $20,000 to have me declared dead so you could steal $500,000 from an insurance company. I was going to pay you back. Eventually. When I got back on my feet financially. Pay me back? Claire, you didn't borrow money from me. You erased my legal existence. Do you understand what you've done? I can't access my bank accounts. I can't get medical care. I can't travel. I can't do anything that requires proving I'm alive because according to every government database, I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't think. You didn't think about how this would affect me. You only thought about yourself and your debt. She started crying. What happens now? Now, you're going to be arrested for insurance fraud, filing false documents, and probably half a dozen other crimes. The insurance company is investigating. The police are investigating. You're going to prison, Claire. Please, Mom. Please don't let them arrest me. I'll fix it. I'll return the money. I'll do whatever it takes. You can't return the money. You spent it 3 years ago on your debts. And even if you could return it, what you did is still a crime. Multiple crimes. You're really going to let them send me to prison? I'm your daughter. You're my daughter who legally killed me to steal $500,000. Yes, Claire. I'm going to let them send you to prison. Because what you did to me was unforgivable. She left my house sobbing. The next day, at 10 a.m., 2 police detectives showed up at her apartment in Seattle. They arrested her for insurance fraud, filing false government documents, and identity theft. The insurance company filed a civil lawsuit to recover the $500,000, plus damages. The district attorney's office filed criminal charges, but my problems were just beginning. Because once you've been declared dead, coming back to life is surprisingly complicated. I had to file a petition with the court to have my death certificate voided. I had to appear before a judge and prove I was alive, which sounds ridiculous but required presenting my birth certificate, my driver's license, my medical records, testimony from people who'd interacted with me during the 3 years I was supposedly dead. My yoga instructor testified. My dentist testified. My neighbor who I had coffee with every Tuesday morning testified. The judge was sympathetic but thorough. Ms. Sullivan, I'm going to grant your petition and void the fraudulent death certificate. However, you should be aware that correcting this in every database and system is going to take time. Your social security status, your credit report, your banking records, all of these will need to be manually corrected. It could take months or even years to fully restore your legal existence. I understand, Your Honor. And I want you to know how sorry I am that your own daughter did this to you. No parent should have to go through what you've experienced. Over the next 6 months, I slowly came back to life. I filed correction requests with Social Security, with my bank, with my credit card companies, with the IRS. Each agency required different documentation, different forms, different procedures. Some were sympathetic. Others were bureaucratic nightmares. My bank account had been closed and the remaining funds transferred to Claire as my next of kin. I had to sue to get my own money back. My credit cards had been cancelled. My health insurance had been terminated and had to be reinstated with proof I was alive. My voter registration had been removed from the rolls. The most surreal moment was when I received a letter from the Social Security Administration informing me that the death benefits that had been paid out to Claire would need to be recovered. Apparently, when you die, your family can receive a one-time death benefit payment. Claire had claimed that too. Claire was charged with 12 counts of fraud and false documentation. Her attorney tried to negotiate a plea deal, arguing that she'd been under financial duress and hadn't meant to harm me. The prosecutor wasn't interested. Claire had committed calculated, premeditated fraud that had enriched her by over $500,000 and had caused me immeasurable harm. The trial lasted 3 weeks. I had to testify about discovering I was dead, about the months of bureaucratic hell trying to prove I was alive, about the emotional trauma of being erased by my own child. Claire sat at the defense table crying, but she never looked at me. The jury found her guilty on all counts. The judge sentenced her to 8 years in prison. After the sentencing, the prosecutor found me in the hallway. I know this can't be easy, watching your daughter go to prison. It's not. But she made her choices. And I had to make mine. I couldn't let her destroy my life and face no consequences. For what it's worth, you did the right thing. It's been a year now since that Tuesday morning at the passport office. I finally got my passport renewed last month. My bank accounts are restored. My credit is fixed. My medical records show I'm alive. I exist again, legally and officially, but something changed in me during those 3 years of being dead and the year of coming back to life. I realized how fragile our existence is, how much we depend on systems and databases and official records to prove we are real. And I learned that the people we trust most can hurt us in ways we never imagined. Claire will be eligible for parole in 6 years. She's written me letters from prison, apologizing, begging for forgiveness, promising she's changed. I haven't responded. I don't know if I ever will. She didn't just steal money from me. She stole my identity, my legal existence, my peace of mind. She killed me on paper and left me to deal with the consequences. So yes, I'm alive. Officially, legally, completely alive. But the relationship with my daughter? That died 3 years ago, on August 15, 2021. And unlike me, it's not coming back.